My last house call brings me back to Salt Lake City, where Robert Rampton and his daughter Corinne have asked me to diagnose their living room wall and see if I could prescribe a plate rail that would help them showcase their artwork and collectibles. Hey, Robert.
Hi, Rod.
How are you?
How you doing?
Very good, thank you. You must be Corinne?
Yes.
Huh? Father-daughter team?
Yes.
Can we go inside and take a look?
Sure, come on, let's go. Well, Ron, what we'd like to do is recreate an arts and crafts style plate rail around 3 walls of our living room.
Yeah, that should look good up there.
And I actually have a picture of something that we'd like to try and do.
Oh yeah, this one right here. Huh?
Yes.
I like that. I think it would look very nice in here. Well, here's what I'd like to do. Let's pull all the furniture away from the walls, and then I want to make some measurements, okay?
Okay, great.
Corinne and I hold a strip of wood on the wall at various heights, while Robert decides which he likes best. 5 feet seems to be just about right. Next, we carefully measure the width of the walls.
I got 12 feet, 10 inches.
Now it's time to head out to our temporary workshop in the garage. Kind of taken over your garage here and unloaded some things from the mobile workshop. These are the tools that we're going to be using today. Table saw, power miter box, and a thickness planer. This is the wood I've chosen for the project, oak because a lot of your furniture in there is oak.
Right.
I've also chosen pieces that are nice and dry. They're flat, they're not cupped in this direction, and also they're really straight. It's going to save us a lot of work starting with straight lumber like this, all right?
Okay.
So if you guys are ready, why don't we begin by cutting out some of the parts for this.
Okay.
We use the table saw to cut or rip our wood to the proper width. Like most lumber, oak comes in standard thicknesses. For our project, though, we'll need some thinner pieces, and that's a job for the thickness planer. With our wood at the proper width and thickness, we can now use the power miter box to cut it to length. Some of the ends require angled or miter cuts. Well, it's time to start assembly. Our design consists of a shelf, a ledger or back support, and some trim pieces. We'll start with the shelf itself.
Well, Ron, this is an example of what we'd like to put on the shelf.
That's copper.
Yes, it is, hammered copper.
All right, well, to keep these from slipping like this, what I'd like to do first is to cut a groove in the top of the shelf to receive the edge of the lip of the plate. Keep it upright. And the tool that I want to use to do that is a router. I've got a straight cutting bit in here. It's a rotary cutting tool. That'll spin. And this fence or guide right here is going to run right along the edge of the board. Eye protection is a must with this tool. The cutter spins very rapidly and can propel wood chips and splinters at very high speeds. As the router is pushed along the board, it leaves behind a clean, precise groove, just the right width to hold the edge of those decorative plates. Now, Corinne, the longest wall in that living room is longer than the longest board I've got, so we're going to have to join 2 boards together to make the shelf as long as we need it. Okay. And we're going to do that using something called biscuit joinery. Now, this is called a plate joiner. It's got a cutter bit under here, like that. And it's going to cut a slot in the end of the board. So what I want you to do is to place this right on top of the board. Go ahead and take a hold of it.
Okay.
Push it all the way in. Bring it out. Okay, pull it away. Now look right here. So you've just cut yourself a joint there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Corinne, put some glue right in those slots you just cut there.
Okay.
Squeeze it. There you go. Oval-shaped biscuits, as they're called, made of compressed wood, are then inserted into the slots. These tabs are then put into slots in the adjoining board. That's it. Up tight. Once the glue dries, Robert uses a random orbital sander to smooth the joint. Our design calls for a strip of wood to be attached to the edge of the shelf. Now this is the lip that's going to go on the front of the shelf. So, Robert, if you would, give me a bead of glue right down through here. Okay. Corinne, go over on this side, please.
Okay.
See, Robert, you could have gone into cake decorating. With the glue in place, the lip is pressed onto the front edge and held in place with finish nails. Now it's time to attach the ledger to the rear edge. This strip of wood will allow us to mount the shelf to the wall. Here again, glue is applied to the edge of the board. Then the ledger is set in position and held in place with clamps. There you go. We want maximum strength from this joint, so we'll first bore pilot holes, then insert screws. Okay, the ledger is on. Let's lay this flat on the bench again. and I'll clamp this so it won't move around. Now what I want to do is plug up these screw holes here with some decorative button plugs. Okay, nice button job. Let's turn it back over one last time here. And we're going to put some trim now on the bottom of the ledger. This piece of trim is largely decorative. Glue and nails will hold it in place. All right, guys, turn it up like this. Now, dental blocks are the next detail to be added to the art shelf. The dental blocks will be placed right in here. They're made by first gluing, then nailing together 2 small squares of oak. The blocks are then attached to the ledger from the back. The shelf is assembled. Now it's time for a final sanding. Then a coat of golden oak stain varnish to add color and luster. Now we're ready for installation. First, we draw a level line on the wall, then install a strip of wood that will act as a temporary support. The shelf is attached by drilling clearance holes into the ledger, and then installing screws directly into the wall studs. We connect the sections with biscuit joints to align the edges and reinforce the corners. Our final piece of decorative trim is a pre-finished strip of oak that covers the screw heads. Now this is truly an art gallery. I like it.
Me too.
Huh? You guys did a great job.
Great.
Yeah, well, it just adds such a nice touch to this room, ties in the whole arts and crafts field.
Yes.
And you were wonderful to work with. My first father and daughter team, I think.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy, guys.
Thanks. It really, really makes the living room look great, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, honey, thanks for all your help doing this.
You're welcome. I had fun.
Thank you.
You know, it's amazing how just the right architectural woodwork can change a room from simple to simply wonderful.